With the death of the Union carrier, I had to scatter around and spend hours looking for each of the predecessors of Union carrier and redevelop new combos for it in the current format. I think we've come up with something pretty special, something pretty awesome that I think ABC, Trap ABC, is back in business. Hey guys, this is Tom Box. Welcome to MST.TV. Question number 1, is ABC dead? No. Question number 2, am I going to show you guys how to play through multiple different combo lines? Yes. We're going to explore a lot of the different Link 2 options that you can go. There's about 3 real options, or technically 4 real options that you can use to build your combo and build your deck around those combos. And I'll explain everything in the deck build. But first, I'm going to do some combos and then we'll do the deck build. I don't want to explain the deck because you guys have seen it in the previous video. But first, shout outs to my Patreons out there. Thank you for supporting me and making videos like this possible. If you guys want to help support this channel, check out the Patreon link down in the description. But if that's not your fancy, just hit the like button. Appreciate that as well. Thank you guys for helping me hit 70,000 subscribers. Really big milestone, and hopefully hitting that 100k will be sooner than later. But I really appreciate all of you guys for sticking around and making this old guy really happy. And let's begin. You know, with the loss of our Union hanger, let's go through the combos first. What can we do now? So I'm gonna split the combos into 2 categories: 1 card combo, which do exist, and then there's also 2 card combos which we can play. Luckily, my current build here can play both variants of heavy synchro versus non-heavy synchro, so I don't want to just showcase all of it to you guys, and you guys can be the judge of which path you guys want to choose, and you can streamline your build based off of that. This will have a foundation build at the end, so stay tuned for that, and let's begin. Combo number 1 is going to be Union hanger and 4 non-Union monster. If any of these are a Union monster, whether it be a Torque Tune Gear or anything like that, then that's considered as a 2-card combo. I know it's just cards in your hand, but it allows you to trigger additional Cs, and that gives you an additional summon, and that's why we're going to say these are just non-Union monsters altogether. You're top decking basically, and we're going to have a second top deck combo very soon after this one. But starting off with the Union hanger, we're going to activate it, and we're going to force ABC out with this particular combo, adding B because you want to have B later on when you link summon. So we're going to normal summon out the B. Effective Union hanger will now trigger. We're going to equip the Union driver. Open game state, we're going to trigger the Union driver, or rather activate it and banish it, and attach a or a C. I don't think it really matters in this particular point. And then we're going to activate the equip spell of A Assault Core, special summon it onto the field, and now we have 2 monsters, and now we're going to proceed to link summon into a Platinum Gadget. Specifically for this combo, it's Platinum Gadget because we're trying to spit out the ABC. And the reason why is because we have like 2 chains here, but we're not activating the A, because if we activate the A, we don't have the correct pieces in the grave. So we're going to activate the B instead. And we're going to activate the B, and that's going to give us the C. The reason why the Platinum Gadget is because Platinum Gadget has an ignition effect to do the summoning. Therefore, you don't have to wait for the same chain. If you had an additional monster in hand, though, then I would definitely not go with the A. I would go for the C, and then you would be able to actually get 2 summons out instead. But for now, we're going to activate the Platinum Gadget, special summon out the C, and we can just banish all these pieces. And on your 5th summon, that's your ABC Dragon Buster, which means you can technically get nibbed, but if this was like a late game thing, it's absolutely worth it to do it like this, because, well, 1 card ABC is still possible, 4 other cards in hand. If these are all disruptions, and this is still not too bad, considering that ABC is considered as 2 types of disruption, 3 bodies, and a banish, so it's not bad. Let's move on to the next one. So if just 1 ABC isn't your cup of tea, then we're gonna go with the new line of play. We're gonna activate the Union hanger. This is not really that new, for instance, but we're going to grab a B Buster Drake. B Buster Drake normal summon, and use that. We're going to get the Union driver equip, and we're going to use the Union driver this time once again, but for a different target to re-equip. We're going to go with Torque Tune Gear. Luckily, there are Union tuner monsters that can summon themselves out, and we're going to special summon out the Torque Tune Gear. And pay attention to this, because the reason why you're doing this is because all the other cards are not playable, and in my current build, they would be disruption based cards that would be absolutely beneficial if you had them. So just think about it this way, what we're ending with our board, and think about the number of disruption we have. So now we're going to link into our favorite monster now. We're going to go into Crystron, Halqifibrax. This is going to be Chainlink 1 and B will be Chainlink 2, making this one not ashable. So Chainlink 2, we're going to get our A Assault Core. Chainlink 1, we're going to summon our Despot 01. And this is amazing in ABC in particular because you summon a lot of ABC monsters when you tag out, and that's multi-summons, and this is going to proc and summon itself out, giving you 4 monsters to break any board the turn after. That's just something that you can keep in mind because you have the Goddess that's available. Now, we have the typical play now. This was the Aurora Don play, which is, I still think, very valuable in this particular build, and you can do some pretty nasty things. Aurora Don's going to trigger, and we are going to summon 1, 2, 3 defense mode tokens, and that's going to trigger our Despot 01. Alright, so Despot 01, we're just going to sync this off, just so that, you can make yourself a nice little Herald, and we're going to put the Herald here. We're going to activate the Aurora Don, get rid of these two. Think about it this way. I know, like, oh, you're playing Colt Wing now. Oh, that card's such a brick. Think about the other bricks you had before when you played Photon Orbital. It's kind of the same deal. And luckily, in this particular deck, it's not as bad because it is still a machine, and you can still use unauthorized reactivation to actually get to halfway to this point. You'll still end with at least 1 negation on the board, which is why I'm like, you know what? I can settle with this. So this has been summoned. You have another Mega Phantom Beast on the field, so we're going to summon 2 tokens, and that's going to trigger our Despot 01. Despot 01, we're going to synchro once again with 1 of the tokens, and we're going to make our Phenon Dragon. So this is shoutouts to Cyrus Gideon, because we were talking about this for a very long time, and you know what? I'm just going to showcase this one, so shoutouts to you. And this is going to activate on the Synchro Summon, and we're going to change this to level 1. This is currently at level 7 thanks to the token here, because this is a 3. So this is a 7. We can take the 1 and the 7, and we just sync them both off for a Borreload Savage. And with Savage, we're going to activate the Savage, and we're going to equip ourselves a Christian Hulk, and we can end our board like this. And this is from 1 card hanger combo. I think that's pretty disgusting considering you have 2 negates, a pretty beefy monster, and another beefy monster that would actually consider it as a pop, and you have a token on the board. That's not bad at all. Like, double negation right here. And if you had, say, Ash, Dynamiscus, I don't know. I'm playing Trap ABC, of course, so any of these additional disruptions are live. And even a Union Scramble would fetch you a complete ABC because you can just bring back the Union driver, equip something onto it, unequip, do like the little crisscross, and you'll be fine. So this is like the kind of board that you're forced to make, which is not bad at all. Now, before I demonstrate the 2-card combos, I want to explain the hand combinations with different Link monsters and how each of them work ideally if you open some of them in your hand. And I'm just talking about one of them. Now, if you open any ABC piece, you can go into any path regardless of what kind of hand you open, maybe except for maybe the Colt Wing. Colt Wing probably would go with a Hashima every single time just because you can summon it onto the board and actually use the effect. But let's look into each of these guys. Platinum Gadget, the best timing because you can activate it whenever you need to summon the monster and you don't have to have the appropriate hand to do the proper summon. So this one is good timing overall and can also be your 1-card combo. But if you're never going to go into the 1-card combo, it's usually going to go into the Christian Halqifibrax, then maybe you can cut this and maybe this is not ideal. But I think this is the only card that you can use to pair with the Tortune Gear as a solo card. So if you don't have A, B, and C and you have Hanger and Tortune, you can go with the Platinum Gadget and still set up an amazing board and still get an ABC Dragon Buster. If you only have the Barricade Borg Blocker and you have Tortune Gear, you're only going to end with a Barricade Borg Blocker and an ABC, and that's as far as you're going to go because you're going to be able to throw one of these away into the graveyard, and that's it. You're not going to be able to do very much. Then there's a Hashima. This one usually leads into an IP Maskarena play, which is very good because you go into an Xyz as well, giving you additional draw, and it can help you fetch out some cards. And if you go with a Colt Wing opening, that means you're not going to go into the Aurora Don, so you can actually summon this card out and overlay with it, and you can still do a fun shenanigans with it. Ultimately, these are some of the boards I'm going to be demonstrating right now. Alright, so this is going to be basic nib proof combo. We're going to start off with a Union Hanger, and as long as we have any ABC piece, we will be fine. Since we have C, if you have C, then add A. That way we can actually throw it into the graveyard. We're going to normal summon out the C, and a Union Hanger effect, we're going to equip the Union Driver, then we're going to activate the Union Driver, and we're going to equip the B. Now, activate the equip of B to special summon itself out. That's 2 summons now. We're going to link both of these together, and we're going to summon out our Barricade Borg Blocker. That's summon number 3. Now, we're just going to activate the B Buster Drake, and then we're also going to chain our Barricade Borg Blocker as chain link 2. We're going to throw this into the graveyard, and then B Buster Drake is going to add a card in your hand. We're just going to add, I'm going to say Torque Toon Gear, because I like Torque Toon Gear. And now that's our 3rd summon. Now we just banish the lot of here, and now we can summon out our ABC Dragon Buster. This is not nibbable right now, and if you throw your Union Hanger into the graveyard for whatever means possible, you can just add it back into your hand for the next turn. But why would you do that? You can just tag on and get like 4 monsters to play with. So that's the easy way out. Okay, we're going to start off with the Aurora Don combo. Here's the path of how to get there. If you have Union Hanger plus B, then you want to search an A. C, search an A. If you have A, search either of these, preferably the C, because if you get hand trapped, if you're going second, if this gets popped, at least you get to summon out an additional card. Then you can kind of work with it from there. But yeah, anyways, let's start things off. Let's say we have a Hanger and an A. We're going to add basically our C this time. So we're going to activate our Union Hanger effect. We're going to grab the C. And with the C, we're going to normal summon, equip the Union Driver effect, banish, special summon, or not special summon, equip our B. Now we're going to use B equip effect, special summon. That's a spell, equip spell effect. And now we're going to link these two together, knowing that we still have an A in our hand. Now we're going to summon into our Barricade Borg Blocker, link summon. Chain links now here super matters because you have to make sure that everything is legal. So we'll activate the C while it was still legal, and then we'll activate the B, and then we'll activate the Barricade Borg Blocker, throwing this into the graveyard. So we'll have to resolve as much as we can, but everything is active. So this is activated, resolving, throw the A, resolve this particular one. We're going to grab a Torque Toon Gear, and we're going to resolve C now. Now that we have a monster, we're going to special summon out. But note that during the activation, it was still legal because we had the A piece in our hand. So that's kind of how it worked out. We have the Torque Toon Gear now, and now we can proceed to link summon into Christian Hulk. Note that this now is summon number 5, except the summon number 5 already has like 1, 2, and 3 in the grave. We have A, B, and C. This is going to now activate. We're going to summon into our side the Despot. So dropping into the Despot 1. We're going to proceed to link summon this one off too. So at this point, you should be dropping Nib on me at some point here because you don't want to eat the Herald. The Herald is basically guaranteed now. And so Aurora Don gets summoned out, and now we're going to summon out our 3 tokens. 1, 2, and 3. That's going to proc our Despot 1, special summon that. You have to nib here. You just don't have a choice. This is kind of like the whole Cyber Dragon Nova shenanigan where like, oh, you have to do it or else it'll be too late. So then we'll use the Despot 1. We're just going to link the token and Despot, and that summons out a 4. Now I'm going to explain variances in this particular combo depending on what you run in your extra deck. The extra deck build is probably harder than the actual main deck. So from here we have the negation. Now we can just banish our A, B, and C, and now we can drop the ABC Dragon Buster. Would I actually use the Mega Phantom Beast right here? This is very iffy. That really depends on the build. So if you have the correct amount of Herald of Arc Light, so say before we even get here with the A, B, and C, say we activate Aurora Don once again, we're going to get rid of all these cards, and we're going to summon out the Colt Wing. Alright, Colt Wing, and then we generate 2 tokens. So from here, when we generated the 2 tokens, that's going to proc our Despot 1. We're going to summon this back onto the field. Now, this particular instance, what we're going to do is we're going to, if we had 2 copies of the Herald of Arclight, which I can see why I would run it, we'll put it up right here, and now we'll drop an ABC Dragon Buster instead. But this way, you would probably have to cut some of the cards. Maybe you have to cut one of your entire synchro line for this, but this way, now when we drop the ABC Dragon Buster, this one has a really sticky matchup, because even if they try to just run over your Herald of Arclight, there's a second one, and therefore they're still playing in kind of a banished, banished mentality. You still technically have your 3 cards, and what about if my opponent tries to try to bait your ABC? Well, first of all, when you activate this is a cost, all right? And when you try to activate this is a cost as well. So then you can try to free up your zone, and then you can finally use the ABC Dragon Buster to bring your 3 pieces back if you need that kind of zone management. Okay, so we're gonna do the same combo again, but this time we have Tortoon Gear in hand, and we can't really use Barricade Borg Blocker because this would basically get thrown out, or you won't even be able to summon it. So we're forced to go into a different monster, and we're gonna activate Union Hanger. Union Hanger effect. We're going to grab a C or a B. We're gonna grab a C. We're gonna normal summon out the C, equip the driver, banish the driver, equip the B, and special summon out the B as an equip. And now we're gonna link summon. Okay, so now that we've linked this off, we're gonna go into the best timing monster, Platinum Gadget. Platinum Gadget, well, that's there, but we're gonna start with a chain link of B and then C. The reason why we're doing this way is because we want to block the Ash as much as possible. Like getting your C hit, like sure that hurts, but even if the C gets hit, you still have an ABC Dragon Buster because you were able to search the A. But if the B gets hit, you'll just end with the Tortoon Gear and it doesn't feel very good. So this is the preferred chain link for me. And from the C, summon out the Tortoon Gear anyway, and then you have the A Assault Core. Now you can activate the Platinum Gadget, special summoning out the A Assault Core. If your opponent can actually do something against you, they would have done so already because hitting either of these still hurt, for most cases. So with that in mind, we can now proceed to link these two off into Crystron Hulk, and the Hulk is going to be Chainlink 1, A Assault Core is going to be Chainlink 2, adding back the Tortoon Gear, and now we can summon Despot 01. With Despot 01 in Hulk, we're going to summon our Mecha Phantom Beast Aurora Don. Aurora Don on summon will trigger 3 tokens will generate onto the field. Free tokens, guys. Free stuff is great. And with that, we're triggering a new card. You guys should know this one from Infernobles, our Despot 01. So lots of things happening here. And now we can proceed to Synchro. Let's go with Synchro, guys. Synchro the Despot 01 with the level 3, and now we can start off with a negation. So you should have gotten nibbed already at some point. And luckily, if you did get nibbed, it doesn't really matter. You still have an ABC follow-up, and technically you have 3 other cards in hand on top of the Tortoon Gear because this was added back from the A. So from here, what you can do, first you would summon out your ABC. All right, we'll get rid of these, and now we can drop our ABC Dragon Buster. Next, we're going to use the Mecha Phantom Beast Aurora Don, get rid of the 2 tokens. You have to do this. The reason why you have to do this is actually quite important. This is going to summon out. There's no space for the tokens, which is exactly what we are looking for. The problem with building a board like this is that you can't tag out your ABC Dragon Buster. There's just too many things on board. So when you tribute your Herald of the Arclight, now you have 3 zones available, including the ABC Dragon Buster. Don't put your Dragon Buster up here and keep like 1 additional token. You can't tag into 2 zones, which means you're always at the mercy of your opponent when it comes to being able to, well, basically do any form of play. And if they decide to kill your ABC Dragon Buster, it will be a free kill rather than being able to tag out. So in this case, the first thing you do is you can actually negate something, and then you can still chain tag this to get your 3 pieces back onto the field, and that's how you would play it. And finally, the IP combo. This is where we already started off. We have the CB, we have Banish Driver, and this time we're going to use Unauthorized Reactivation. We're going to link these 2 off into Bujinki Ahashima, and we're kind of try to do the old school, I guess, Bujinte Tsukuyomi style play. So Bujinki Ahashima, its effect is that whenever it's link summoned, if you have matching levels in your hand, you can just summon 1 from grave, 1 from hand, and just immediately link summon. But let's work with the chain links here. So chain link 1, I think I should go with the Crush Wyvern. Chain link 2, we're going to go with B, and chain link 3, we're going to go with the Bujinki. So Bujinki is going to summon something out, including the A Assault Core in my hand, which is what we're looking for. And we're just going to be able to summon both, and we're just going to overlay immediately when it resolves. We get to go into the Garrus. We're going to finish off our search. I guess you can add a Tortoon if you want. If you add Tortoon, you get a lot of flexibility because you can do the previous combo all over again while getting an additional search, which is fantastic. But if you want to be a bit more stable, maybe you can add like an ABC piece or something like that. But this one definitely changes the path quite a bit because you can start making things a bit more, I guess, nib proof, because you can force your opponent to nib. But that's not what we're going for, not in this particular combo. So we're just going to work through what we have here. Let's say we add a C into our hand. Now the C effect is going to activate and special summon out our card. So that's kind of how far we've gotten so far. But typically you can also go for A if you're worried about monster effects, or another B. I think B is actually probably the best choice here. We'll go with the B here. Now we are going to detach the two, and we're gonna draw cards. Like if you want to draw, that's fine. If you want to summon, that's fine too. I think drawing is a bit better. If you're playing a trap oriented build, drawing 2 cards, like say I RNG this from right now. Like what are my other 2 cards here? Okay, well I have hanger and whatever. Like say I have drawing 2 cards and ditching 2. So if I get traps or hand traps, that's just more for my opponent to handle, and I'm just gonna throw away the ASL core because I don't need it right now, and I can just work with exactly what I have. Now I have an additional disruption that they probably don't know what's going on. So let's draw 2 and discard 1, and now we can just link these 2 into an IP Maskarena, and we can activate B. Let's go. I'll grab a C now because I already threw an A into the grave, and this is not bad at all. Now we can banish, I believe, A, B, and C. And now we can drop an A, B, and C onto the field. Okay, here's the thing about that particular drawing into an A or a B or whatever, is that if they nib you here, you can just chain your ABC Dragon Buster, banish your Ahashima, and then let everything get nibbed, and then drop a second ABC, and you can just keep going from there. So, and then you can also set your back row, just annoy your opponent to the point where it's hard for them to get a proper setup. And now I personally think that this is one of the boards with like the scarier interaction. Here's like something that's kind of interesting because you have a trap, okay? A simple basic trap like this. Because if they use Dark Ruler no more or something along those lines, you can just activate your Dynamiscus and target their Dark Ruler no more. It doesn't really matter that it's gonna get sent to the grave. The point is that you have chained the Dark Ruler no more. Now you can actually do something about it, which is great. So the first thing you could probably do is you can activate the ABC Dragon Buster and tag out, or you can chain the IP Maskarena and then chain the ABC Dragon Buster, and that way you can summon back all your ABC pieces, and you can even link away some of the pieces yourself. If you want to do this, you can go into the Underworld Goddess, which is I guess unaffected by the the Dark Ruler no more, because Dark Ruler no more doesn't target, and then you can negate something in the graveyard. And remember, you can't die, and you have a new ABC in the graveyard, and this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. So there's like a lot that you can do simply by having some back row disruption against your opponent, and that's something that they never really account for anymore. Time for our deck list here. We are maxing out on A's, B's, and C. Triple A Dragon Buster, here we go. But yeah, you want to max out. It's 2-card combo now, no longer a 1-card combo, so you want to see a couple of C's, and that would be a disappointment to my father if I got that many C's, but C's is actually great now, so you have to max out. I recommend maxing out, or you can cut a couple of A's. Ooh, my report card. Next, additional cards, we have Union Tuner, our Torque Tune Gear, and we have our Union Driver, another card that makes or break the deck, and those are the additional cards. This gives you access to Halki Fibrax, which I think is worth playing. We're back to comboing again, but if you want to play a bit more stable and go with Ahashima, that's up to you. Next, hand trap lineup, triple Ash and triple Nib, just because combos are just so strong now. I don't know why you wouldn't play this, so this is my lineup, and I had to cut Torrential Tribute because Torrential Tribute somehow just falling flat, and this is like just preemptively having a Torrential, so same idea. I want to disrupt the board, and I'm still playing traps, of course. I didn't really talk about the traps, but the additional 2 cards for Hulk, we have O1 and Coltwing. Coltwing, think about it this way. This is like not totally a brick. You can still do the Ahashima play with this, and Despot 01, this is kind of a bricky card, but like this one you can still equip it with Union unauthorized reactivation, go into Union driver into a Torque Tune Gear, and now you can start making some synchro plays, so it's not complete bricks. Now for the spell lineup, we have Terraforming, triple Union Hanger, triple unauthorized reactivation. This is the best card in the deck, personally. That's what I think, because it just makes you immune to certain cards. They try to Dark Ruler you, you can make yourself immune to the Dark Ruler. It's like having a lot of copies of Call by the Grave that is flexible enough to deal with Imperm and everything else. That's why I like this card, and it's also an extender as a mini Union Hanger. I just love it, so it's one of the best cards. Not much to say. Speaking of Call by the Grave, I used to cut all of these cards in the previous build because we were basically already immune to hand traps, but now we're not. Double Pot of Prosperity, I just use this as a fill slot, but to be honest, being able to dig 6 cards to find the Union hanger is worth it. There's a lot of dupe cards in here, and even if you have everything you want, still play it for 3 to get an additional trap or a hand trap. It makes it pretty annoying for your opponent to play against, so it's worth it. Monster Reborn can be a 3rd pot or a Mystic Mine if you want to play Mystic Mine against your opponent. And as for trap lineup, Triple Trap Trick is still part of the package. I kind of want to cut one down now. It's a bit heavy, especially when traps are not as effective when VFD is not in the format, but then again, there's still a lot of Dragoons, and to deal with Dragoons and give yourself a quick out against Dragoon, you need to play Ice Dragon's Prison. Something like this. This is really worth playing. And when you see your opponent make like a Verte Anaconda and you really can't stop them, one thing that you should try to do if you already have your board already set up, you can try Union Scramble to get yourself 3 monsters so that you can use the Underworld Goddess to kill off that Dragoon. And it puts a lot of pressure on your opponent to like choose what they want to negate. And finally, one of the most useful cards to deal with like Numerons, I guess they're not as strong anymore, but it's going to be Triple Dynamiscus. I still really like this card. I still think it's one of the most flexible cards out there, and you can use it during the battle phase versus dinosaurs. It's just an all-rounder. I think I would vote this to be the most versatile trap card in the entire format for now, until something else kind of comes up. But for now, that's that. Okay, extra deck. There's certain things that you can't cut, and there's certain things that you can be a bit more diverse with. But stuff you can't cut, Triple ABC Dragon Buster. This is just what your boss monster, and it gives you a bunch of free summons. I don't think you can really play without it. IP Maskarena, a card that you should not cut because it is going to be very useful with the Underworld Goddess. This is again another card you cannot cut because it is an automatic out by generating a bunch of bodies, and ABC can generate a ton of bodies. So there's 5 cards that you're basically locked into. And as for the rest of it, this is the part where you can be a bit more flexible. So let's start off with the Link 2 package. Of course, we have Crystal Hulky Firebrax because we're playing Torque Tune Gear. No Torque Tune Gear, no need for this particular card. Platinum Gadget, a Hashima, and Barricade Board Blocker. One of these can be cut because I can tell you right now, I'm not running the Nightmare package. Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Unicorn, both of these cards, they are not in the deck right now. But you can definitely put the Unicorn back in by cutting one of these out. If you're not going to play the Gadget combo, then this is your easy replacement right there. It just works out. It's fine. But my current build, because I want to be able to eat hand traps, which is why I'm trying to max out on this, and I'm choosing to cut out some of my own utility. Now, when it comes to playing Pot of Prosperity, what do I banish? These are the ones that I'm looking at, and one of the ABCs. That's kind of the direction that I usually go, and sometimes I cut the boss card out. Maybe it's the access code that I'm not going to be going into, or if I know that I'm not going to go into like the Phenon Dragon, then that's what I would cut, so that it's pretty easy to play a 3 dig excavation of the Pot of Prosperity. So these are the ones I'm using. If you don't want to go into the Ahashima, you can pretty much just cut out the Daguerres that goes with it. Anything that's like Seas based, you can kind of cut and just fill with other cards. And okay, so I already kind of talked about this earlier, so I'm not going to explain it again, and I'm just going to move on. For the next particular part of the package, if you're playing Crystal Hulky Firebrax, of course you got to play the Aurora Don, and I have an access code talker. I had Appaloosa in here, and I also had Boral Sword before, but those had to get cut just so I can fit stuff for the anchors, because we lost our Union Carrier, and that was a very big deal once we lost that card. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't even play Infinity anymore. Unless you do want to. You can still play the Galaxy Soldier stuff. Like, this stuff is not like bad or anything, but you just have to hard draw it. And if you hard draw it, you still have the unhand trappable combo, or the combo that can play through the hand trap, because you can force the Infinity. You will end with an IP Maskarena, Infinity, plus the ABC, which is a very, very devastating for. That's 4 disruptions with like one that is basically untouchable, and it's negation, removal, and a second removal too, so it's pretty insane. As for the synchro lineup now, as for the finishing part, we have one Herald of the Arclight, one Phonon Pulse Dragon, and we have Borreload Savage Dragon. However, what you can also consider over the Phenon Pulse is to use a Shooting Riser Dragon and play the Gamma package, so that you can send a level 2, which would be the Gamma, so they can still go into Borreload Savage. So this can easily be swapped, but you have to do some main deck modifications also with it. Additionally, what you can also do, which is to cut the Phenon Pulse, and instead of playing the Phenon Pulse, you play a second Herald of the Arc Light. This is fine too, because although you don't have like a big beat stick against your opponent will still be under a bit of a lock with the Herald of the Arc Light. Just crowning down on them, they can't go into discarding stuff without getting it banished, and having 2 of them is pretty annoying. And that isn't another option you can do. And what about that Borreload Savage? How do you actually summon it out? It's pretty easy. Just go into your Torque Tune gear, equip it onto your monster, and then you can just use 2 4s and you can make your Borreload Savage from there, which is very functional. I've gotten like a 5 once. It was kind of awkward, but that was like much later in the game, where I used like double Herald first and then went to the Savage like much later into the game when I tagged out the ABC. So that was one way that you can do something like that. And these are like all the variations and options that we're exploring. So that's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, well, smash the thumbs up button. I spent a lot of time on ABC already, more than I should, exploring a lot of these different combo lines for you guys. Shout outs to the Cyrus Gideon, because he also went into a deep discussion with me with a lot of this stuff, so shout outs to you, and anyone that kind of loves ABC. So that's all I got for this video, and thank you guys for helping me hit 70k subscribers. Yeah, it's a big milestone. Although we are still working on that box, and once we get rid of all the banlist content, I can finally start filming. If you guys enjoyed the lighting of this particular combo profile, it's because we've upgraded some of the tech. It's looking a lot better, and thank you guys for making it happen. And until next time, don't forget to hold on to MST.TV, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah.